Let's go. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Disney Plus Star Wars TV series, The Acolyte, which has just been canceled and will not be getting a season 2. So, for those of you guys who don't know this about me, I was never that into Star Wars growing up. The very first Star Wars movie I watched at the movie theaters was Star Wars The Last Jedi, and that was only because my friend James actually had accidentally purchased an extra, movie theater ticket, and he didn't have anyone else to give it to, so I just chose to go with him that night. And then I also brought a girl along with me because I didn't want to be in the room with a bunch of sweaty, fat, smelly nerds watching Star Wars, because Star Wars is for losers. I'm just kidding. So after watching The Last Jedi that night, I realized to myself what a huge steaming pile of shit that was. Now, keep in mind, I had never actually watched anything Star Wars related before then. Like, I had seen like random episodes of the Clone Wars being promoted on Toonami. That's literally the extent of Star Wars for me. And then obviously the odd Star Wars movie commercial. I think the prequels were very big back when I was growing up, so obviously I was seeing a lot of trailers based on the prequel Star Wars trilogy, but that's pretty much it, right? And then when we were around the crush card virus period that we were just in some years ago, back when I had my bigger YouTube channel, I would do like movie projects where I'm still going to be doing those now moving forward. But what they are is I basically watch and review all the older movies in a series before going to the newest one, right? And I wanted to do it with Star Wars first because I never actually really delved into it, and when people would talk about Star Wars, I never really got a chance to be in those conversations. And you guys know this about me, I really do love movies, TV, anime, and all that stuff. And even if it's something that I've never been into, I am willing to try it out because I want to, diversify the things that I've been into and get more knowledgeable in these, said topics that I haven't not ever been that much into. So Star Wars, I got into first when I did the movie project series, and I watched all the originals, all the prequels, and all the Disney movies all in order. So the only movie that I watched again was The Last Jedi, and that was because I thought to myself, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it is a good movie, and I was wrong. No, it's not. It's just not true at all. Star Wars The Last Jedi is a steaming pile of shit. I watched it twice, and I will never watch that movie ever again unless I redo that Star Wars project again, which in that case, I would probably have to rewatch it again, but hopefully that day never happens anytime soon, right? So, Star Wars has basically just all been a TV series franchise for the longest. You could tell with the success of The Mandalorian that they were going to pivot into going into a TV model. Now, if you had told people many years ago that Star Wars would basically just be a TV show brand at this point, they would have called you crazy. Now, just until recently, they announced that we are getting a sequel to The Rise of Skywalker, and that's going to be coming out, I think, in 2025, 2026. It's going to be like a Rey solo movie, so that's going to be a steaming pile of shit, right? So, the Star Wars TV series that I've watched was the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1. That was awful. And then I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 1. That was terrible, right? So after watching Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 1, I literally just didn't care about watching anything Star Wars related anymore, right? Because right after Obi-Wan Kenobi, you had Andor that came out, and a lot of people said Andor was good. But for me, I didn't care about that because I already know that character's fate from watching Star Wars Rogue One, actually. Like, why am I going to watch a series about a character that's dead? Like, that character's fate, right? So the Acolyte trailer premiered a while ago, and I didn't do a trailer reaction to it because I had seen it on Twitter when I was at work, and I was like, man, this looks like just trash, honestly. So the trailer did not appeal to me, right? And then the discourse around this show has just been absolutely insane. Either if you don't agree on what the show is, then you're a racist, bigot, misogynistic homophobe. Now, this is the thing a lot of people just kind of fail to understand when it comes to just basic logic, and I'll just break it down for you. Okay, so if people claim certain YouTubers, right, don't have an impact on anything, then why do you give your attention to their opinions 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, constantly talking about their opinions? It's because, let's just be honest here, their opinions matter, okay? Because all these other guys on this other side are like, these guys' opinions don't matter, it's just a small majority of these guys, when in reality, that's just not true. You just choose to not believe that because you believe that only your side is big enough. That's just how it works, honestly, right? So, keep in mind, people need to understand this. Streaming services all have advertisers now. They all have ad plans or ad-free plans. So what does an advertiser mean for a streaming platform? What it means basically is that if an advertiser is choosing to give you money, they want to advertise their products on your product, but you have to have big viewership, right? Because advertisers do not want to advertise on a platform with low viewership. That's just how it works, right? So if all these streaming services have all these advertisers now, and these shows don't get any views, well, 1 + 1 = 2, of course they're going to be canceled, right? Now, there is one argument that I can give this other side of people. Yes, there have been very bad TV shows that have been renewed for multiple seasons. Okay, that happens, but that doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things because that's been a thing in TV forever. There's also been really good shows that have not gotten a season 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. So it's not this like one size fits all argument. It really could just be a variable depending on whatever TV series you're talking about, right? So, since you guys know all of that, we get this article from Deadline because they broke the news first, and then you had just the meltdown of people, and they just went absolutely insane, and this is the reason why this brand doesn't work anymore, just for Star Wars, because I'll be honest here, I didn't watch the show, I just didn't care to. The reason I want to talk about this is because deep down, I do like Star Wars to a certain extent. I do think it's a really, really cool concept. I do like the world that it's in. But at the point now where Disney's bought it and we've seen many years of what they've been able to put out, it's just not been that good, honestly. Like, these are some really bad products we're getting here. You know, for me, the most Star Wars thing that I do now is I collect like Star Wars Darth Vader comics and trade paperbacks, right? And then I'll get like some Star Wars epic collections here and there. Just comics for Star Wars. That's it, right? And maybe I'll get a lightsaber here and there, but that's pretty much it, right? And then all the discourse surrounding the show was just absolutely so cringe. Do you know the main reason why these shows fail? Not just with Disney Plus with Star Wars. I'm talking about Disney Plus MCU has this problem too. So rather than actually discussing what is actually in these shows, because most of the time, not even just with the Acolyte, these shows are boring. These shows are bad, boring, useless, filler trash. That's what they are, right? Every single time I watch either a Star Wars show or I watch an MCU show, my feeling after it would be, man, that was just pretty meh. And I know a lot of other people feel that exact same way. A complete waste of time these shows are. They're nothing. They take place at certain portions of their universes, and they don't matter in the grand scheme of things, and are just a flat out fucking waste of time. So then, if the writing really was good, yeah, it wouldn't be a waste of time because you got a good product, but that's not the case here, okay? So here we have it. The Acolyte canceled. No season 2 for Disney Plus's Star Wars series. Exclusive. The story of The Acolyte will not continue, with Lucasfilm opting not to proceed with the second season of the Star Wars offshoot starring Amanda Stenberg. Sources tell Deadline. You know what's crazy? How Disney is a company that has all been for women this and women that and women empowering this and diversity this and diversity that and blah, 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 blah. What did they just do in front of you? They just did this right in front of you, showing you they don't care about any of these people. They just completely fired potentially a cast and crew of like 100 to 200 plus people that have potentially worked on this entire show, with the main leading character being a black woman. Yeah, they really sure do care about black people when they're willing to put her out of a job. They sure do care about black people, but it doesn't matter what Disney does, because people are just gonna get on their knees and just eat up all the shit that comes out of Disney's ass for the most part. Word of the decision comes more than a month after the 8-episode first season of the series from creator, director, executive producer, and showrunner Leslie Headland wrapped its run on Disney+. The news is not entirely surprising. The Acolyte did okay with critics, with 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, but divided Star Wars fans, which was reflected in its overall viewership. Driven by interest into the venerable space franchise, The Acolyte got off to a strong start when it launched June 4th with 2 episodes generating 4.8 million views in its first day on the streamer to rank as the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus this year. The tally rose to 11.1 million views globally after 5 days of streaming. Corroborating Disney's data, the series made its debut on Nielsen's top 10 original charts in its premiere week at number 7, 488 million minutes viewed, climbing to number 6 the following week. Okay, so this is basically how most TV shows go, and this happens with comics too. Most people, when a TV show does not interest them, a good amount of people, I'm not saying everybody, if it does not grab a person in episodes, let's give it like 4 episodes. Let's even be fair to this one. 4 episodes. Then they just fall off, then they just leave. They don't come back. Because if it doesn't interest you to keep watching, the viewership by default falls off. Nobody on YouTube would have an effect on people globally, okay? Yeah, I would agree that a lot of these guys' opinions, which I do like, and I like these content creators a lot, met some of them in real life, really, really great people actually, despite what the internet makes you believe about them. They do have an impact, but it's not to the degree of this worldwide impact that would tank this show's viewership. Because this is the thing you have to understand, people. Average people are just not terminally online like we are. That's just not how that works, okay? So the average person, not terminally online, just checked out. They were just like, fuck it, I'm done, right? That means that would be a writing issue, a pacing issue, a dialogue issue, just an overall story component problem with the actual show, to the point where millions of people that started with it dropped off the show. It dropped off the face of the earth after like week 6. I remember I checked randomly on one of my Iron Man podcast episodes, and yeah, the show completely just dropped off. Like, no one cared for it anymore, honestly. But The Acolyte could not sustain the momentum. Yeah, because that's how TV shows are. And that's how it works also in broadcast networks as well, where basically, if the show is doing really well after the first 3-4 episodes, the studio will just order more scripts now. Now, to be fair, moving forward now, that's not going to be the case as much anymore because seasons have been reduced to like 8-10 episodes now. Dropping out of the top 10 in week 3 and staying off before returning at number 10 after the release of the finale. 335 million minutes, believed to be the lowest for a Star Wars series finale. So that means even the people that came back to watch it in the finale only could boost it to number 10 on the Nielsen's top 10. That's actually disgusting. People just completely fell off a cliff until they were like, you know what? I'll watch the beginning and I'll just come back and ignore that middle part until the very end. Like fellow global streamers, Netflix and Prime Video, Disney Plus has a high viewership threshold for renewing high-end, big-budget series that cost well above $100 million per season to make. And I think this show cost around that same as well. In interviews, Headland has revealed that she had pitched her ideas for a second season, sharing her hopes for a renewal. Lucasfilm's first and most successful to date Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian, is carrying on, crossing over to features with the upcoming The Mandalorian and Grogu. Ahsoka, the company's series that preceded The Acolyte, has been renewed for a second season. So, Ahsoka and The Mandalorian and Grogu are also getting more to their actual products, but not The Acolyte, because it must have been because nobody cared to watch anymore. Wow, it's crazy. Oh, good lord. So, yeah, that is pretty much it with that. And let me check on this right now, because I'm pretty sure The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be a movie, actually. That's where they're moving from. Because I know The Mandalorian Season 3's ratings tanked a lot, actually. Yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be a movie. So if you guys didn't know this, Mandalorian Season 4 is not happening. This is just going to be a movie, which I think is going to be even potentially better for them. This might actually do pretty well at the box office. Just depending. Really, we really have to maybe put an asterisk on that. I don't know. I'm just saying, obviously, right? So then we have Ahsoka, right? How do you spell Ahsoka? Ahsoka is getting a season 2, I think. They said, will there be an Ahsoka season 2? It's in development. So apparently these did well enough to a certain extent to be renewed. But then again, viewership on these have been pretty much not represented the way that this one is, because I do believe, since streaming services like Disney Plus don't really have to report the actual numbers to a certain extent, they could easily just get away with renewing a show that they potentially don't really want to keep putting money into. It's very well possible that could be the case, where they just didn't want to put money to the Acolyte anymore, given how much divisiveness it was causing amongst the fandom. Now, this is a tweet that I really wanted to cover in this video, and this kind of highlights just how weird people are, where it doesn't matter about the actual story, the structure of it, the characters. All that matters to these freaking weirdos is people of color. They think just because you put a black woman, Mexican woman, Mexican dude, black dude as the stars, and that just somehow makes it a salvageable product, or that's just going to make it good. These people literally just want diversity because they just have this weird, inherent, disgusting validational kink in their body. It's just so fucking weird, man. Like, this is the thing. Whenever I grew up watching, I'll give you an example, Dragon Ball Z, for example, right? I didn't need to see myself as Goku. I thought Goku was just a really cool fucking character. And Vegeta, I thought he was just a really cool freaking character, you know? These people literally have to physically see themselves on screen for them to relate to a character. And that's just weird. You're just a narcissistic weirdo, actually. Like, this was just one of them. There's many of them, but all these are just so gay and so cringe, man. Butterfish says, it breaks my heart. Oh, shut up. Finally, a Star Wars show with a lead person of color, and it gets canceled. There's been plenty of other people of color in Star Wars, but they choose to ignore that intentionally because they would never like to acknowledge that because it would destroy their argument. This other weirdo, Zayden Rorison's lawyer, same. I was so excited to finally see a more diverse cast in the franchise. I'm devastated. Right here, that just highlights the problem. They just want to see diversity for the sake of diversity, not even if it matters to the product. I just want to see different people. Guys, this is not a popularity contest, okay? It shouldn't be, right? The best person for the role should get the role, no matter the race or religion or any of that stuff, right? So then this guy, Stitch Paul, sums up what I thought perfectly. These comments sum up the problem perfectly. Who cares about the story, the acting, and the character development when a diverse cast of lettuce, bacon, tomato, and ideology messages in every scene? Apparently, the people expected to watch do. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of the stuff that Disney is doing, you know? And these fans just, when they don't get what they want, they just, oh my god, we finally just have a person of color. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. You know? And it's the thing, Disney sure doesn't care about people of color when they just literally just canceled her show. Did they really care about people of color? This company that's been really into all these weirdos. Really? Have they? No, they haven't, because that's just virtue signaling. They don't really care. They know, they're just saying that because it sounds nice to say. If their actions lined up with that, that would make a lot more sense. But they don't. And people like this are so stupid, they just won't get it. It's sad that this is the life we live in now, where a company could blatantly do the most heinous shit possible, and someone has to gaslight their own brain into believing that's not what's actually happening right in front of them, because they choose to believe the other thing is happening when it's not, because their brain is not capable enough of understanding. Yeah, and this is the problem. Just diversity this and diversity this and blah, blah, blah. Like, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Having these diversity quotas, it's literally what has ruined most products, though. Is it the thing that is the final nail in the coffin for a lot of these products? No, but it sure is a huge red flag. So, yeah, if you guys were watching the Acolyte Star Wars Disney Plus TV series, what did you think? If you watched it, did you think it deserved a season 2? Most people that I talked to said it didn't because it was a steaming pile of shit, but who knows? We'll have to see how the future of Star Wars is going to play out. Though, just want to let you guys know this before we head to this video. I have been a little bit behind on uploading videos, actually. I'm very sorry about that. I'm going to try and be a lot more consistent with uploading content. And after you see this video, or maybe before, depending on the timeline of when I release these videos, you will be getting another episode of Full Dave going to the movie theater, as I'm going to go watch Alien Romulus. So, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or newer viewers, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and I'm signing out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace.